Hey, 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 Happy New Year. Fixing to be 2025. I'd like to do a review of 2024, some of the top watched shows, just little clips here and there, some of the best of the best of. Again, say hello to all my new subscribers in Canada, the UK, New Zealand, India. Hey, y'all, you know who you are. Saying hey from the deep and South Texas. Just trying to do positive things for humanity, bring the message, bring the news, bring the good news. Do it in a thoughtful way. I hope all of these guys, I appreciate them so much for sharing with me, and hopefully we'll do it again in 2025. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever Kelly Brewer Show podcast, number one. I'm grateful to my first guest, Joseph.
You can say all of it if you want
say
to.
Joe
I used to say
Taylor.
Joe Taylor.
Everybody knows Joe Taylor, man.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time in New York. I went to school at the neighborhood playhouse over there. It's sort of a famous acting school.
Live and we are hot.
Are we?
We are live and hot.
Well,
Hot and live.
Hey, first off, thanks for even asking. We actually bumped into each other, and you asked me to come do this, and I had just found out that you were starting it a couple weeks ago, and so now thank you for letting me be here in front of your mic.
I appreciate you coming, man. You've got such a perspective. So welcome to the Kelly Brewer Show. I'm Kelly Brewer. I got Robbie Lim's Steptoe with me today.
And from this point on, it's just Robbie.
It's just Robbie, that's right. Now, I'm going to read y'all a little bit about Robbie. He's a famous broadcaster. Y'all are in for a treat. Y'all are in for a treat. I think I'm in for a treat. I don't know.
Where's the camera? Where's the camera?
It's this one right here. And look, if you can
What do
see.
I do with my hands?
Play guitar with your hands. Show me those chords and I'll be your rhythm man.
Okay, all right. So
B,
what I'm doing, so I'm going to be playing in C,
C.
but I want you to do the 2 and the 3. So that's going to be.
Okay, I'm going to pray about it. Welcome to the Kelly Brewer Show. We are going to try this one more time
Yeah,
with Miss Joni Droddy.
that's right.
She is with the Orange County Hope House in Vidor, Texas. It says here, I'm a lifetime Vidorian, director and coordinator of Orange County Hope House and the Hope Chest, and that's a shelter for women. She lived the first part of her life here being part of the problem. I can relate.
Yeah.
And now living the rest of her life being part of the solution here in Orange County and in Vidor. And you know what? I think you're going to inspire a new generation to do the very same thing that you're.
I hope so.
Could you take us through the story? It's a great story.
Yeah.
I really enjoy your perspective.
I was raised in an outlaw home, a drug addict's home. My parents were functioning addicts, so I didn't think there was anything ever wrong with our lifestyle. It was normal. My dad was a welder. My mom was a nurse. Everybody worked. We went on family vacations. But behind closed doors, my parents were addicts.
Okay, we are live in Texas, and I have got my good buddy Brian Barron. Dude,
Brother.
it's so good to see you.
Good to see you. Always.
Appreciate you coming.
You were one of my heroes back in the day. Yeah, you rock star heroes.
But you're the one that's carried the torch, man, the whole time. You have carried it the whole time. But let me read a little bit about you so folks that don't know you can get a feel of you, right? Brian Barron, been singing since 3rd grade. I love that. Dude, you're a great singer and a great performer. Through high school, I remember you in high school at the Pirate Escapades.
Yes.
That's where I first saw you. I was like, that dude can freaking sing, man. He might beat us. We had a full band, and you were just up there by yourself, and I was like, oh, damn it. You're international. You've been around the world singing theme parks, national tours, cruise ships, 34 countries around the world. And you just got a freaking gold star from the city for doing that. You know, here, hold that up so folks can see that.
Yeah, this is the.
He is on the Walk of Fame. Okay. Walk of Fame. He's got his star on the city in front of City Hall. Then it happened. The Crossroads Band. You're famous around here, man. Everybody knows you, and you draw a crowd no matter where you go. I've been to many of your shows, and I really, really am impressed with the hardest working band in show business.
I went and auditioned for my first professional gig, which was at the Alabama Coshawty Indian Reservation with me and Joe. Worked over there
Joe
for that
Taylor.
first summer. Yeah,
He
Joe
was
Taylor.
my first guest, actually.
He's also got a star on the
Right.
the Walk of Fame.
Right.
A small little thing like me taking the cowbell and walking out into the audience. It's like I'm known for I'm the cowbell man.
guy.
Working on the cruise ships, you know, you look at performers who do individual shows and you can see who's the good ones and who's not. The ones that really can create energy and involve the audience, those are the ones that really had the most success. I watch some bands around here and they get up there and they play their music and they don't move and they don't talk to the audience in between, and you know, and people will come and say, "Here, the difference between your band and that band is that you involve the audience, break down the fourth wall." You know, because you get the fourth wall up there, and people think that you're going to play and they're just going to love you like you're George Strait. Well, and nobody can do it like George Strait. So I don't see any other way to do it than to put the energy into it, because energy creates energy. You put a lot of energy into it, and it feeds the audience, and the audience feeds you back. Once that back and forth goes, you get to a point where it's just at its epic top.
Right.
Yeah, where you know that you have them right in the palm of your hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Hello, Kelly Brewer. Thanks for joining us. Have a special guest today, Mr. Ben Burla, my brother.
How are you, my friend?
Showing up on this cloudy, rainy day.
Yeah.
Ben has a pretty amazing story to tell, something you're not going to hear around here very often. But I want to introduce him a little bit. Ben was born in Romania. At 17 years old, he decided to escape. He crossed 2 borders, one Yugoslavia, and then about another week of walking, catching a train, avoiding bullets probably, you arrived in Italy. Man, I can't imagine. But
Wow.
look, you got a smile on your face.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I see you, and he's got a smile on his face and a positive attitude. He's a go-getter. And I'm glad to have you here, my friend.
Well, good to see you, my friend.
So how would you start such a tale?
Well, like I said, born in Romania. Basically, my whole life has been there. Come from a big family. I was the youngest of 10. The country was going in the direction of communism.
What spurred you to make that's a pretty drastic decision?
It was, it was just, something I was thinking. I heard some people that, did the same thing, and they left Romania, ended up in, different places, and some ended up in America. And America back then was, a big thing. You hear America, oh my gosh, I didn't even know where that was.
What it was.
Yeah, it was like, what is that?
What is that?
But I think I want to go there because,
I'm gonna try to get you out as fast as I can.
No, you're good. She was.
A longtime friend of mine, Kenneth Turner.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, buddy. We
What's
were just
happening?
kids back there on the road with Dixon and the Pleasure Island Band.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we had a lot of fun. Point though is to learn from you. You know, what happened? What happened to you that allows you to survive as long as you have? I mean, you know, some people call it a paradigm shift, or I've even described it as, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? You know, was there a single event? Was it a series of events? Or maybe, as some, you've been on this trajectory your whole life. Share with us, if you can put it in few words.
It's been a pretty quiet existence.
But this was recorded a couple of weeks ago right here in Vidor, Texas. You were playing with Benny and the Rest. You sat in just the last song. War Pigs, you guys, I'm just freaking out. Anyway, we're going to skip to the end. This is the finale. Listen to that audience. Can't have that. Oh. Look, a standing ovation from an appreciative crowd in Vidor, Texas. I don't know where, I think I was over here.
Now it's time for us to start drinking, so y'all just chill out and listen to the
Oh, Ben.
Benny
I love
Ben Sanders.
But, you know, a standing ovation. I know you don't want to get into the thing, but it took me a minute to realize what I was actually seeing, you know. I mean, what I saw was a paradigm shift. There was, like you said, there's no race there. There's only just total appreciation for craftsmanship. Anyway, I want people to see that and see the change in our community. But over the decades, I have watched that spirit die. And I'm going to claim that spirit is dead after watching your performance in Vidor, Texas. I'm going to say that spirit is dead. I'm rebuking that spirit.
All right.
I'm proud of my little crazy-ass community. I'm proud of them.
There's some really beautiful people in this community. I mean, even when I was in high school, you know, and college, you know, a lot of my friends live here. Yeah. You're one of them, my brethren. Yeah. And my buddy Todd Stark, who is like my ace boon.
That guy's so good. I
Love
had no
that
idea.
dude to death. And Carl Richardson.
Right.
And Don Rollins.
Right.
And Roy Wood from college. And
Tracy Bird.
There are all kinds of folks that are from this area. Southeast Texas is full of wonderful people.
It is.
I like to think that conventional wisdom, you know, dictates that everybody's basically decent. Right. And it's a couple of folks.
It is.
That make everybody else, and it doesn't matter what color, well, that make everything else a little weird.
Welcome back to ARC Southeast Texas. For this week's Hot Pods, I have with me Kelly Brewer to talk about his podcast. So let's talk about your podcast. What's its name? Go from there.
Gotcha. So oddly enough, it's called The Kelly Brewer Show.
Very nice.
Right? Huh? Very original. So the podcast was kind of an afterthought, right? So I've been a fan of comic books and superheroes since I was tiny. When I got old enough to read, I devoured comic books. I love the Marvel comics, and I always wanted to be a superhero. Always. And when we moved to Texas, I got a guitar for one Christmas. Picked up the guitar, and I realized after the very first show that we did that rock stars are superheroes, right? It was the closest I was ever going to get to be a superhero. I've written a science fiction trilogy called The Deepening. And the third installment of The Deepening is called Can a Rock Star Save the Universe? So I've kind of got spaceman and rock star mixed together in one character. I've had to figure out, how am I going to promote this, right? Just put it up on Amazon. That's not enough. So I said, well, let's do a podcast. And then I got to thinking, am I just going to talk about my books and myself? You know, that's going to get old pretty quick, right? I said, well, I'll just interview guests and we'll advertise the book, you know, as the shows go.
Talk to me a little bit about the books. What are they about?
I basically have put my experiences of the many, many years of playing music out on the road, clubs and everywhere, into a book about a futuristic rock star. And I've kind of sort of living vicariously through him, right? Okay. He's me in an idealized sort of fashion. You know, obviously he's mid-20s, but it was so cathartic in the sense that I was able to get this stuff out of me that I've been dwelling on and thinking about, and not waste the experience. You know, it's sort of a way to chronicle, right, what happened. The production's kind of crude, and I'm still learning, but it's getting better, and that's on YouTube. Check it out if you get a minute.
Ooh. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for coming. I'm so excited.
All right, no problem. And stay tuned for more art content coming up after the break.
Today I have a special guest, Jimmy Lane Mooney. Y'all probably know him as the Sheriff of Orange County. So, Jimmy, Mr. Lane, I appreciate you coming.
Well, thanks for asking me, Kelly. I appreciate it.
What have you learned that we can learn from? How can we pass some good information on to the next generation so they don't make the same mistakes that we did? I mean, you've been through it. I've watched you for many years go, and you rose to the top, you know. You fought and you fight, and you're a fighter, and, you know, but you're a very kind person.
Thank you.
That's what I find. Very level, kind, even-handed person. So you've obviously learned a few things on the journey. How do you start such a tale?
Well, it does go way back. You know, I'm 59 years old, and you go back to my younger days when I was 18 years old. I was kind of a rough cuss, kind of rough and rowdy, you know, back in the day. And, you know, I came from a great family, but I made things tough on myself. And but my family was always there to support me. And, you know, when I finally tried not to be a knucklehead, you know, that was my forte, was working drug interdiction on the highway.
Right.
And I was very successful at it.
You were telling me you had one of the biggest busts. It's a few years back. What was that like? Describe that.
It was on a Sunday evening, and it was about a $40 million lick. Because Sunday nights, that's when the dope loads are coming out of Houston. Their thought process was, it's not the gauntlet, it's Sunday, everybody's at home,
Right.
everybody's working.
Right.
Anyway, make a long story short, car rolls by, it's in a big expedition, get him stopped.
You just sensed it? How did you know?
Well, his license plate light was out, and so I'm going to have a conversation with the guy. So anyway, he caught the curb, and I got out, walked up to the car, made a passenger approach. Good thing I did, because he was holding a 9mm high power down by his seat.
Right.
And he was in a big captain's seat, had his jacket over it. Well, inside the jacket pocket was a 9mm high power. And as I'm talking to the guy, he's looking at me, and I could sense the way he's looking at me. He's really drove up at this point. So I talked to him for a little bit. I country boyed him is what I call it. You know, I put him at ease.
I see.
And so I told him, I said, look, man, I can barely hear you because of all this traffic. If you don't mind, can you step out and speak to me back here? So I got him back there and got talking to him. I mean, he was so nervous, his hands were shaking.
Yeah.
His voice was cracking. So I asked him for his driver's license. He could hardly get it out of his pocket because he was
so nervous.
Yeah, shaking so bad. So I get to the point and I tell him, I said, hey, look, buddy, I said, we work drug interdiction out here. And when you say drugs and you're looking at somebody and they're carrying drugs, they automatically lock up and their eyes get about that big around. Real nice guy, educated guy, super nice guy. But he would have killed me. And then I come out and I ask him, I said, man, you ain't tote the big old load in here, are you? And he looked around, he said, me? I said, yeah, you. And he said, no, I'm not toting nothing in there. I said, okay. I said, you mind if I search your car? Yeah, go ahead. Get in there, I get to looking in the car. There's 250 pounds of cocaine.
Good Lord. Today I have a special guest, Mr. Rick Leach, my friend. I appreciate you coming,
Yes, sir.
taking time, taking 5 minutes out of your busy schedule. I know you're a working man. Music and God is the answer to everything in his life.
What else is there?
What else is there? Besides sex, drugs, and rock and roll, that is the other. You can go that way. And I did for a
That's
while. I don't know if you
years
did.
ago.
Years ago. That's the past. Well, that's what I want to get into is
But if I wanted to get a point across, is people matter. Doesn't matter who you are, and you matter. You're important, because those were the things I wasn't told
right.
from anybody but my foster mom. So, and that'd probably be the biggest one right there.
Yeah.
Is that you got a future. Your life isn't over. Your life isn't ruined. Straighten up, figure it out, buckle down, and do it.
Do it. Just do it. Well, that's a good one. You matter. Yeah, you have value. You're not worthless. Just because somebody else thinks you are doesn't mean you are.
True.
Yeah. What do you do with this gift now that you have it? What's the
Give it back.
Give it back.
It's not ours to keep.